Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Isabel Leite. I'm head of sustainability here at MJV. It's a huge pleasure to be here with you today for this first diversity, equity, and in event live, and we will talk here about how we do accelerate social impact. So we'll bring some day data for the US market, and we will also discuss a little bit of our approach for it here at MJV. So I am now based in Brazil, but I attend and support NJV globally. And I will invite here to join me for this live event my partner Janvi, who is Sustainability Innovation Consultant here at NJV. Please, Janvi, be very welcome.
Thank you so much, Ismail. Hello, everyone. I'm Janvi Mange. I work as a sustainability innovation consultant at MJV's office in Atlanta. I'm currently joining you guys from India. Uh, and yeah, like as Isabel mentioned, we are here to discuss about the role of diversity, equity, and inclusion for accelerating social impact in the US. So let's talk more about social innovation. Like it's not a new term. Earlier, we have heard a lot of nonprofits, especially working for elevating the needs and the situation of the communities, the people of color, people who face a lot of economic and social inequalities. But it was during the pandemic that showed us the reflection of certain aspects that we have been considering as normal all this while, and why do we need to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the uh, yeah. So certain statistics that came in front of us were like 1 in 4 women working in corporate were compelled to leave their jobs or downsize their careers in 2020 in the United States. It also came in front that due to a lot of different cultural aspects, women were burdened with taking care of the family as well as taking care of the job aspects, whereas their conditions weren't being taken into consideration, and that led to a lot of women to leave their jobs or to think of a second option, which by far was considered normal. But then in 2020 is where we started focusing and where people started talking about the situations. When we talk about employment and when we talk about the racial issues next to it, 53% of the US adult black population was employed in 2020. And the main question over here is, why only 53%, as we say? Like in the corporate sector, there have been a systemic racial discrimination prevalent all these years. But in 2020, during the pandemic, when the situation arose, people started facing the direct consequences when it came to healthcare, when it came to the equality into uh, job aspects, when it came for equality into the cultural aspect and then within the communities. And at the same time, if we see from that 53%, 39% of the black population which was employed work for vulnerable jobs, which also meant that they can be laid off at any given point of time. The job security wasn't being assured to them. And this led to a lot of economic downfall as well. And at the same time, when we talk about the Hispanic and the Latino population within the United States, 65% of this population faced the direct impact of the drop in the GDP during pandemic. And overall, according to the United Nations Foundation, women in general, LGBTQA community, people of color were the most affected due to the acute challenges during pandemic. And this raises a big question of why and what we are doing for it at this point of time. Has the conditions changed? And has anything transferred into the diversity, equity, and inclusion movements after 2020? Let's see what we have done and what has taken rise in United States after that. So the very first topic is about the cultural transformation. The Black Lives Movement, which all of us have been uh, known about, the Black Lives Matters movement brought awareness on the systemic racial discrimination and which encouraged the need for mandatory diversity and inclusion training programs in the corporates all across the country. People started talking about the racial discrimination which they faced firsthand, or if they know people facing it, and they no longer had to keep it private, or they no longer had to be ashamed to talk about it. The second thing is the CSR initiatives. So, because of the increased awareness, 64% of the CSR professionals reported racial justice as a new long term priority, making DEI among the top four priorities of the organizations in 2021. The next is about the corporate funding. So, companies either donated or pledged around 8.2 billion out of 12 billion, which were allocated for the racial equity establishment within the companies. And the last is to develop the equity. So the job opportunities for diversity and inclusion executives and leadership roles has doubled post the COVID across all types of industries, even in the within the industries which have less than 500 employees all across the country. So when
Yeah.
we talk about
Mhm. Hello. Thank you, Jamie, for all the this brief introduction you have gave us here. I have noticed on the comments that we have people talking to us from all around. I see Brazil, I see Colombia, I see US, Atlanta here, very strong. And now Janvi will guide us through a quick poll, right, Janvi, in which we will ask you a question pretty much related to the US context. And I will ask you all to join and follow the steps. It will be very simple. And even though you are not in the US or in Atlanta, you can please join and give us your perspective on that theme. And so we can have a more open conversation related to the topics you bring for discussion here with us. There you go, Javi. Javi, we can't hear you. I guess you're on mute. Sorry.
thank you for that. So,
Okay.
as Isabel said, we are going to have a quick poll over here. So, up till now, I shared some of the challenges that we think that diversity and inclusion has been facing. And here we want to hear from you guys. Like, which of the following options that you are provided do you think is the main DEI challenges to accelerate productive inclusion in the United States? So what I want you guys to do is scan the QR code so you can enter the silo tool over here. And once you scan the QR code, you'll be able to see the question and the options, and you can select whichever option you think fits the best for you guys. We can have like 2 minutes over here, and then we'll share the results with you guys.
Yeah, in case you have any doubts on what each of these topics mean, please just write on the chat here and we can comment on that and we can help you guys understand. But basically, when we talk about no measurable strategy in place for the DEE, we mean that the challenge is viewed as a secondary objective in companies, like they are not really prioritized and in business strategy. When we say like not enough resources allocated to DEE, we mean there are limited efforts towards DEE result in a lack of focus and maybe sometimes even non-trackable outcomes. So this is the kind of challenge we are facing in this topic. And when we say blind spots on the culture creation, it means the initiatives don't have much budget in place for that. Like they are sometimes people inside companies, we need to get the allies to get things done, and it is in this sense. And when we say the is seen as important but not urgent, it means people will not necessarily prioritize it until it becomes a crisis. It is the importance versus urgency topic here that we are connecting to. And by lack of responsibility, what we mean here is that decision makers often detach from DE. We sometimes don't have like one person. We don't have someone responsible for this kind of initiatives in the company. And the next one would be leadership approach to managing DE. And for that, I mean, there is no one size fits all approach to managing it. So we must understand that we should customize the management styles based on the all organizational needs. And that's what we are tackling here with this challenge. And last but not least, implicit biases on integrating DE. By that, we feel like it can stop employees from effectively integrating the initiatives. So, like in the sense that there is no training session, or that people bring their own conceptions to these topics.
And I
Uh,
guess
yeah,
we have a
please.
result here.
Hmm.
I guess 40% of you guys feel diversity, inclusion, equity, and inclusion is not prioritized. Just as Isabel was saying, like, it's seen as important but not urgent. The priority is not yet there. And the very next to it is the blind spots on DEI culture creation, and DEI is seen as important but not urgent. So the same thing that we want to focus on in the next part of this presentation, today's event, and also when we meet back for the workshop is how can we make DEI as a priority within the organizations, within the community that we are in? What can we do as individuals as well as a team? Today, when we talk about things, we always talk about a global initiative. Majority of the companies, everyone is placed globally. So even it goes without saying that diversity and inclusion are the topmost priorities for anything. Like as we see today, that Isabel is joining from Brazil, I'm joining from India, and we are working for United States. So it goes without saying, like, how are we going to strategically put that in place rather than just talking about it, or just putting it as a CSR event? How can we put it as a business mindset or the company culture is what we want to discuss here. And I'll hand it over to Isabel to share some insights on how as MJV we have created that culture and how we can help the other companies do the same. Up to you.
Thank you, Jambi. I just want to comment on Gwen, what Gwen has written down in the chat, that he feels that some of these answers are connected. And I personally totally agree with that, because it is like an ecosystem, and they are all like somehow connected and interdependent. And for me, the main challenge relies on the point of view and the efforts of the decision making makers inside the companies, because some decision makers may view DE as a buzzword, or an initiative that doesn't has so much attention, and consequently it can be like relegated, and that's why, or neglected, and that's how like we end up having the blind spots. We end up seeing it as important but not urgent. We end up not having enough budget to tackle this kind of challenges. So this is all for sure interconnected. I'd like to thank you all that have joined this quick poll here with us. Please feel free to make more comments or questions that you want to, like, any thoughts you had while we were talking about this. I mean, the point of view here is to change this point of view with you guys. Gwen, I will just answer you that now because I will go through our quick institutional presentation and invitation to this workshop that we are having on the 30th. Okay, let's go. So MJV, here at MJV, we are an innovation and technology consultancy that works towards and for sustainability. We are now with offices in 10 different cities in Europe, US, and Latin America. In Atlanta itself, we have been working for the past 5 years. We have a diverse team of 1,200 MJVers working globally for different kinds of clients of different market segments. And the way we do it is by customizing offers and customizing our services based on these 5 pillars that move us all together. So when we believe that by combining these 5 pillars like strategy, design, technology, culture, and sustainability, we are able to help our clients and promote a sustainable transformation to their business. And the way we do it, and we all do it based on our strong culture that we have here at MJV, which lies on these 4 topics as well, which is people transforming business. This is our headline also if you go to our landing page, because we believe that true innovation is the result of diversity and collaboration. Another culture very strong on what we do here is the innovation everywhere, which means we are constantly promoting and enabling positive change. We are always challenging the status quo, looking for new solutions that can be innovative and sustainable. And the third one would be fascinated with technology. I mean, nowadays we all live surrounded by technology, and it shapes our professional lives, our personal lives, and we are always looking to create great experiences for our shareholders, including ourselves. And last, the commitment to the planet. So we seek to walk the talk, we seek to live our values, and we are always looking to promote social and environmental responsibility within ourselves and here inside the company, and also to the market, to our partners, our clients, our shareholders in general. And the way we guarantee to always provide an innovative and sustainable solution is by connecting these 4 different lenses on everything we do, all kinds of projects that we do. So we manage like the needs of individuals, the technological feasibility, the value for business, and for sure, like the integrity of the solution. Like we must be aware of the impacts on the system that our solution is having. And specifically for social innovation, our approach is to promote the well-being, quality of life, and security of rights. So we do that by creating different kinds of services, like creating strategy and actions for DEE, by developing human-centered solutions, by redesigning organizational systems, by building stakeholder engagement and management a plan with integrity and responsibility, by co-creating employee experiences, and so on. So and here, if you like, and the last sentence we bring here on this slide says that we are always looking to have this good impact in the community. And by community, we mean clients, users, employees, suppliers, investors, and I mean so on, whoever is here at our ecosystem. And just to give a brief in spotlight to some projects that we have developed in the past years. Here I bring this mapping of trends customer needs, which is a project we have developed for an insurance company, where MJV was invited to support a client in mapping trends, customers' aspirations regarding the health insurance services, and we could so they could be more prepared to attend all the and address all the needs those clients could have. Another example of project we have been developing regarding social innovation is this woman in leadership for a fast-moving consumer good company, where we were invited to support a client in defining the strategy and action plan for its Women in Leadership Council program that had the goal to have 50% female leaders at the company. And the third example was done here in Brazil, in the heart of the Amazon forest, where we were invited to support a sustainable development agency that works in one of the cities with the lowest human development index here in Brazil, and they work with the extraction of acai. I'm not sure if all of you know the acai fruit, which is very delicious, and and they have like a very poor process and way of living and quality of life. So the goal for this project was to map their needs, understand the value chain of the acai extraction, and try to integrate, understanding how we could integrate technology to all its process in a way that we could improve the quality of life, well-being, increase the gains of the population, and the sustainability of their business itself. So this was a quick and brief introduction of our approach and what we have been talking about regarding sustainability. Janvi, do you want to comment something of that? Can I move on, please? Let
Yes,
me
sure.
know.
Yes, sure.
Sure. Okay. Then I will go to the invitation itself that Queen has asked about the event. So we are coming to an end here in this live session. It was a brief introduction of the context in the US, and a brief discussion with you guys on like what this challenge means in the US. And now I invite you all to join us for this workshop on the 30th November, where we will discuss this main challenge of how might we support young people in social economic vulnerability situations through productive inclusion actions in Atlanta. So I invite you all to scan here on the screen this QR code that will guide you to a landing page of the event where you can register yourself to join us on this 30th. And for this event, we will have a very special guest speaker, which will be Pamela Fan. Uh, Philippi, if you yes, thanks. Pamela is an award-winning diversity specialist and speaker, and she works in the RCE Atlanta, and she will be sharing some of her experiences and study cases, like this the initiatives that she works with and at the RCE for the youth of Atlanta, and she will be there talking to us, sharing her expertise. It will be like an unforgettable event that we hope to see you all there on the 30th. And I end up here this day, like this live, by thanking you all for being here with us. It was a quick agenda. We will have more on the 30th. And for those who want to warm up, I also invite to free access the DE Corporate Guidebook ebook that is available on our library. And yes, Bruna, you're right on that. I mean, we are focusing on Atlanta since our guest speaker is from Atlanta, but you don't need to be from Atlanta. Like everyone is invited. We will discuss this the point of view in the US in general during the event. Thank you very much, everyone. Janvi, please feel free to give your last words as well.
Thank you so much, Isabel, for walking us through. And as we are ending this even for today, I just like to share one thing from from everything that our audiences discussed with us today. I just like to share, like, more than anything, when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about social impact, we are talking about creating more and more of compassion and putting it into action. It's not just about talking about compassion, but creating that kind of space, creating that kind of mindset and strategies and transformation that we can see within ourselves first, and then reflect it within our communities, within our companies, and also as the end goal. And it's not new to know that many of the companies who have actually started implementing diversity and inclusion as the forefront are seeing more productivity, are seeing more trust and employee retainment compared to the ones who have not yet made it a priority. So we just want you guys to think about it, to sleep on it, and when you join us on 30th, do share your experiences and collaborate with us in building a kind of a framework that we can use to actually put compassion in action. And that's about it. I'd like to end here for today. And thank you very much for sharing your valuable time and joining us today. Thank you, Sabir.
Thank you, Janvi.